Open source is great. It is a bastion of innovation. It allows for software to keep moving forward every day. Innovations are happening all over the world, especially in the web development space. If you don't open source your new web dev tools and technologies, you're going to be met with a lot of skepticism and a lot of fear in adoption. There's a couple frameworks that started as closed source and eventually moved to open source, caving with the pressure. I'm concerned that not all of them maintained the open source mindset when they made those transitions, though. We see more and more participants doing open source that might not fully align with the expectations, which is why we're starting to see more and more conversation around copying, theft, and the use of open source ideas, concepts, and technologies. So to be fair, this tweet was deleted. The person did choose to do the right thing, but I do think it's an important point of discussion. So Jacob from the Remix team tweeted, "Looks like Svelte was the first to steal deferred. Glad this was picked up, but a call out would have been nice. Not like I released this a while ago, wrote about it, gave it a talk, and told others to implement it." He then went and made some snide remarks about how it seems like since most devs are dropouts, they don't respect academia and credit. But the harsh reality here is the deferred concepts and a lot of the streaming ideas he's talking about have existed in other frameworks for a while now. Nothing was stolen here. Ideas were appreciated, implemented, and reused from many different frameworks, including Remix, which has taken a lot of these ideas from lots of different places. That's okay, though. That's kind of the point. The benefit of open source is that we can all move forward together, that when one person makes something better, they've made it better not just for the users of their thing, but for the industry. Even if Remix's implementation of streaming was truly unique and one of a kind, its introduction has now leveled up all of web dev, even for non-Remix users. That's a point of pride. It seems like they're less excited about web dev improving and more frustrated that they're not getting accolades constantly for the work they did. It's frustrating and sad to see. The response to this tweet was pretty much what I would have expected. Developers like Ryan, who created Solid and Solid Start, saying that it's hard to track when specific ideas first came and are used. In this case specifically, Solid has been serializing promises since back in 2020, and Marco was doing similar stuff in 2014. The value is in how people use the thing. And if Remix's value isn't in users shipping Remix, rather it's in other frameworks learning lessons from Remix and applying those in different places, that's a failure in Remix. And if they're not going to acknowledge that and instead are going to keep throwing shots at the people who are learning lessons from Remix, they're hurting both of the groups they should be working with. Group one, the users who should be using Remix, are seeing all of this drama and they're less likely to engage. And group two, the framework maintainers and authors who, to be frank, have been the primary audience of Remix for a while now. The people who like getting nerdy about frameworks, the people who build their own, those are the Remix users right now. Those are the people who care about and look into Remix right now. You're pissing them off too. It sucks that there's a huge value from Remix here in the things it can teach the community that isn't being acknowledged because Remix doesn't want to be part of the conversation. They want to be the center of it. And this has been getting better. I will say, like, Kent replying here saying this is doing harm is a really, really good call out. Kent's been great, especially recently. I've been chatting with him more. He's very much on top of this and genuinely cares. Ryan's been doing better too. Ryan Florence, to be clear. It sucks. I am getting tired of this. I have been for a bit. I don't even know if I'm going to publish this video, but I'm just disappointed. Like, people need to be more excited about good things happening. Prime just sent me a tweet, so I have to pull that up. You win, Prime. Take your W. Yeah, I'm just disappointed. So many of the ideas like our community has come up with, like Create T3 app as a concept, has been ripped so many times. Fun history lesson. This blog post by Nexel is pretty much a direct rip of one of my YouTube videos. I had on stream built a link shortener, posted it as a video. Nexel recreated it, made a blog post. I saw Dev2 post it on Twitter. I was like, wait, this is suspicious. This looks almost identical to what I made. And originally it didn't attribute me. It didn't have any reference to me, but the source code was nearly identical. I tweeted about it saying, this looks suspicious. This looks weirdly similar. And the tweet started doing really well. And people were saying, oh, you should call them out. You should go at them. You should be really mad at them or whatever. I was like, honestly, This reads like somebody who was genuinely excited about what I did and wasn't sure if they could reach out or not. I'm going to reach out to them and figure out what it was. And sure as shit, that's what it was. This blog post was by Nexel, who ended up creating Create T3 app and becoming one of the most important people in the community. But Nexel stole something I did, made it way more accessible by making it a blog post that anyone could read and find and translate and do as they please with. This is an entirely different, more accessible format of a thing I had built. Really pumped to have someone taking the things I did and making different types of content with it. And now he's an essential part of the community. The same thing happens on YouTube all the time, to be clear. Like, I've only been doing this since I started taking it a little more seriously April last year. So it's been under a year since I started posting videos on YouTube regularly. And in that time, a lot of things I did because I wanted to and I wanted them to exist have been directly copied by YouTubers way bigger than me. And I don't care. I don't call it out. I think it's cool. It's validation. It shows the ideas that I'm pushing and the things I care about are indeed valuable. And it should be validating. And Remix doesn't seem to take that validation in stride. They seem to take it as an insult. And that's why I'm so frustrated, because even outside of open source, I can recognize the value in when people get excited enough to build things around the ideas you are pushing. It is awesome. This is a win, and it should be celebrated as a win, and I don't get why it's not. I hate to say open source should learn from YouTube, but in this case, it should a little bit. Credit isn't the value. Credit is important, but sharing valuable ideas is why we're all here. And if Remix's goal isn't to make the web better, it's to make themselves look better in association with the web, they need to get over that. But I don't think that's their goal. I know enough of the Remix team. I know enough of the Remix community. I know enough of the maintainers of that framework to know they do genuinely want to make the web better. So I hope their tone starts to reflect that more. This is a spicy one. Excited for this to be on the channel if it does end up there. YouTube's putting a video there. If it thinks you'll like, maybe click that. Peace, nerds.